Today, we're going to learn how to make this easy 4-row crochet choker. This pattern can be worked up in as little as 20 minutes. The materials for this pattern, I am using a 3.5mm crochet hook and Aunt Lydia's thread, crochet thread number 3. And this one's worked in number 3. And you can also use Aunt Lydia's crochet thread number 10, but work with 2 strands at the same time, and it works out exactly the same. And this one is worked in 2 strands. And if you'd also like to follow along to the free written pattern, that is going to be linked down in the description box below. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you're always up to date on all of my patterns. And to make this even easier to watch, I'm working this entire pattern using worsted weight yarn so you can see every single stitch. Alright guys, let's hop directly into this tutorial. This pattern is worked in multiples of 13 plus 11. To begin, you're going to start with a chain of 63. Pause your video here and I'll get back to you when you're at your 63 stitches. We're going to begin by placing a half double crochet into the second back bump from the hook. Here is your first back bump and here is your second one, and that's the one we'll place our half double crochet. Now you're going to half double crochet in each back bump all the way across. So pause your video here and continue with your half double crochets all the way across. We've made it to the end of the row and you should have a total of 62 half double crochets. To begin round 2, we're going to start with a pattern repeat. It's going to be chain 5, skip 2, slip stitch into the next. We're going to do that 3 times. I'll write it above. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn your work. This chain 5 is going to count as a stitch. We're going to skip 2 stitches. Let me get closer. Hold on. There we go. We're going to skip. Remember, this counts as a stitch, so skip 2, 1, 2, and slip stitch in the next. That's 1 time. Let's do it again. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2, 1, 2, slip stitch into that next stitch. That's 2. Let's do it one last time. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and slip stitch into this next stitch. Now we are going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into that next. We're going to do this pattern repeat all the way across. I'm going to show you one more time. We're going to put 3 small loops and 1 big loop all the way across. That's going to be your pattern repeat. Let's write it above. I'll work it with you one more time. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2, 1, 2. Slip stitch into that next. That's 1. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. Slip stitch into the next. That's 2. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2, 1, 2. Slip stitch into the next. You just made those 3 tiny loops. Now it's time for our big loop. Chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip 3 stitches this time. 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into that next stitch. Alright, I want you to pause the video here and continue with that pattern repeat up above, and I'll meet you at the other side. We've almost made it to the end of this row, and I'm finishing off my last loop by slip stitching into the very last stitch. You're going to end with 3 small loops at the very end. And you should have a total of 19 loops. That includes the chain 7 and chain 5s. To begin round number 3, we are going to chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to slip stitch into this very first loop. Now we are going to begin another pattern repeat. The pattern repeat is going to be chain 5, single crochet into the next loop, and we're going to do that 2 times. I'll work it with you. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next loop. That's 1. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet into the next loop. Now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Our next pattern repeat is going to be double crochet, chain 1 4 times. I'll work it with you. Double crochet into this next loop, chain 1. That's 1. Double crochet back into that same loop, chain 1. That's 2. Double crochet back into it again, chain 1. That's 3. Double crochet back into it again, chain 1. That's 4. Now I want you to double crochet back into this loop one more time to finish it off. Well, finish off this loop. Next, I'm looking at my pattern right now. Next, I want you to chain 2 and single crochet into the next loop. That is going to be your pattern repeated across. It's a pretty long repeat. I'm going to work with you again. So let me read it to you. We are going to chain 5, single crochet into the next loop 2 times, followed by a chain 2. Then we're going to double crochet, chain 1 4 times into the next loop, followed by another DC into the same loop, chain 2, and single crochet into the next loop. It sounds like a lot, but I'll work with you one more time. All right, so we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next loop. That's 1. Let's do it again. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next loop. And that's 2. Chain 2. 1, 2. Now we're going to double crochet, chain 1 into the next loop 4 times. I think I said double crochet, chain 1, correct? Okay. So double crochet into this next loop, chain 1. That's 1. Double crochet back into this loop again. That's 2. Back into this loop. Double crochet. 3. Double crochet back into the same loop. Chain 1. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to place one more double crochet into this chain space. Now chain 2. 1, 2, and single crochet into the next loop. That is going to be our pattern repeat all the way across. I'll write it up above, and if it's still confusing, I'm going to leave a timestamp to start this row again so you can just follow along until you understand. So pause your video here and I'll meet you at the very end of this row. We've almost made it to the end of row number 3, and we're going to place a single crochet into this very last loop. To begin row number 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. This pattern repeat is going to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to work it with you. And of course, I'll write it up above. We are going to single crochet into this first loop. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet into this next loop. Now chain 2. 1, 2. Now we're going to be working into the fan right here. We are going to place 3 double crochets into this very first double crochet right here. 1, 2, and 3. Now begins a pattern repeat. We are going to chain 3, skip a double crochet, 3 double crochets into the next. 2 times. Ready? Let's chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip a double crochet, 3 double crochets into the next. 1, 2, 3. That's 1. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip a double crochet, 3 double crochets into the next double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to start our repeat all over again. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet into this next loop, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into this next loop. Now chain 2, 1, 2. We're back at the fan area again. We're going to place 3 double crochets into this first double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Now's another pattern repeat. We are going to chain 3, skip a double crochet, and 3 double crochets into the next. We're going to do that 2 times. So let's chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip a double crochet, 3 into the next. 1, 2, 3. That's 1. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip a double crochet, 3 double crochets into the next. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, single crochet into that next loop. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into the next loop. And you can continue with this pattern repeat all the way across. My work swatch is a little bit smaller than yours, but if you're following along to the longer necklace, just keep repeating this pattern repeat. If you're having difficulties, don't worry, I'll leave a timestamp on exactly where to start. Alright, so once you make it to the very end, pause your video here and continue making it to the end of your row. We made it to the very end of this work, and now we're going to add on the tie. I want you to pull this up a little bit, and we are going to slip stitch down your work. It doesn't have to be perfect. Pull a little more, go to the next spot, slip stitch, pull a little more, next spot, slip stitch. Now chain 50 for your necktie. Once you're done, you can fasten off your work and we'll move to the other side. Pause your video here. We are going to turn our work to the other side and we're going to insert our hook at the very end, right into this little hole right here. And we're going to begin to chain 50. Once you're done with your 50, you can fasten off your work. And this is what your work should look like within crochet thread number 3. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this choker, make sure you check out my other choker patterns, and I'll see you all on the very next video. Bye, guys.